guys. Welcome. I'm sweating a little bit, but it's been. I was telling other parents that I thought a glass of wine would help me yesterday to keep me get a good sleep, but that didn't help. So then NyQuil helped. Welcome to fall 2019 ACT prep class at Sioux Falls. This is the second year we are doing this program, and couldn't be more thrilled to be back here. This is our third session, and I need to kind of give a little history how it all happened. So spring 2018, I know Wendy's here. Wendy's here. So Wendy and some others, Bob's wife Joanna, they all were driving to Dakota Dunes every Sunday for the class. And one time I remember we had 32 families driving, and they're carpooling and stuff like that. And one parent said, Manoj, it's kind of weird that we have 32 families coming and like a barrage of cars just driving. Why don't you think about coming to Sioux Falls? I said, well, I've not planned for it, but already I'm busy on Sundays, so let me check with my wife. And she's like, no, you're not going anywhere. First of all, you have no weekends. On top of, I said, you know what, I got to do for my students. I'll buy you rose every Sunday before I head out, if that works. It didn't work, by the way, but anyway, but it was I know one of the parents is missing today, but she's actually responsible for finding the place and making this happen. And last fall we had 42 students. We have 24 this fall. So my panel is not that happy that I've still decided to come here, and instead of canceling the classes, I said no, we're gonna do this here. I want to come here. I love teaching in this room. This is so quiet, unlike Dakota Dunes, where there's always some sort of noise, and it's a daycare, and there's toys everywhere. So, I'm thrilled to be a part of this community. I'm grateful for your support and trust. So, without further ado, I would like to get started. So, if you have a paper pen to write down things, or of course, I take pictures and send it as well. So. Again, it's a very informal session. Please ask questions, and we're gonna get started. All right, come. So I have my notes here, so I'm gonna get started with that one. All right. So we're gonna start with the GroupMe app. So. Raise your hands if you have access and if you can see the GroupMe app. Okay. Is there anybody who is not logged in, who doesn't have the access?
I don't.
Okay. Could you please text me? Okay. Anybody else?
I have the app, but I don't know if I have your link.
Okay. So you should get an invite from me, and because I know many are interacting already with the app and stuff, and that's something we're going to spend talking today. My biggest concern, of course we demand a lot from students. We also demand a lot from parents, and we are a little frustrated that there's not a whole lot of interaction by the parents on the GroupMe app, and it creates frustration for us because here's what happened. Spring 2019. We actually gave a homework sheet on the first day of the class. Everybody got one, and guess what happened? Either they lost it, or they didn't tell the parents that they have homework. And we had the worst homework participation ever. We had 80% of the students did not do the homework. And so I don't know if you have seen this, but this time on the GroupMe app, there's already homework submitted, and so that students and parents are both aware of it. So one of the things we're going to ask you in the message is like this message so that I know that you've read the message. So, for example, I also ask like this message if your kid has a graphing calculator. Because our frustration is they come here and they don't have the required materials. And they get bored, they don't learn the material as well as we have hoped. So, so if you don't have access to GroupMe, please text me, text Manoj, and this has to be done please right away, because I want to make sure that everybody has access, and this is only for the parents, not for the students, because these kids make comments, they think they're funny and stuff like that. We don't want, and we had some issues in the past on that one. Next thing is, everybody was sent a Google online form for registration. Is there anybody who did not register this by chance? Is there anybody
You mean registration
for the class?
for this?
If you're not, you should have an email. If you don't see it, please ask me. It's a requirement for our contract. So please make sure you guys fill it out. If you don't, it'll be awesome. Third one is the homework. We're gonna discuss about the homework a lot. So the homework sheet is already assigned. It's already there. Please make sure to print 3 copies, one for the parents, one for the student, one for the fridge, so that they can keep track. And they have to do the homework by next Saturday. Because I don't want anybody doing the homework on that Sunday, when that means they're trying to get the homework done, not really learning the material. And what we are finding out is they're doing the homework on Sunday between church time and class time, while driving here. No, we can't do that. There's no learning as such at that particular point. So this is our concern right here, is parents don't check if the kids have done their homework. Just like students have responsibilities, you will have responsibilities as well. And we have shifted towards more parent-driven program than a student-driven program. So the model itself has changed significantly. For advanced students, there is a book called Kaplan ACT, and that has an access code built into it in the book. Yeah, right here. It should be in the front side, right here. So this is already paid for. I already paid for this access code and stuff. Make sure they don't wait till the homework day. They get the access right away. And Kaplan has given us more access than usual, because I've been working with them for a long time. So that's where some of the practice tests are and stuff like that. So we want to make sure that they're ready for the homework. Next Sunday, we've been getting questions on this. Next Sunday, no class because of Labor Day holiday. So they will be starting with week 1 homework today. By the way, they don't know it. You can surprise them at home. Okay, surprise, gotta do homework. And if they don't do the homework, the learning will not happen. The homework is structured very, very carefully. There are some important dates you guys need to do, and this is one of the most important ones, is December 7th. We are doing a 3-hour ACT review. There's a fees of from 1 to 4 p.m. and there's a fees of $60. A lot of kids last year attended this, and it's first come first served basis. We are going to limit at 50 students. It will be split into 3 groups, and we don't want students to miss this, especially our own students, because this is open to all students. Last time we had 86 signed up, and we had to let go 34. We just couldn't fit them. Yes, there is an option for them to be on Skype and such, or being online, but for Sioux Falls kids, I would rather have them drive one time on December 7th and be face-to-face. If you have any parent here whose kids have attended this, could you raise your hands, please? 1, 2, 3, 4. Have you, so Wendy, do you think, have we heard anything about students comments about this?
Yeah, it's very good.
And we do a pretty intense test, okay? We have started to already work on this, those 3 hours. If there's one program even I would attend, is this one. So we are trying to go digital payment, PayPal or Venmo, but you know, if you guys don't have these, you can also do check and stuff. But again, this is something I don't want people to miss out, especially if your son is or daughter is going to be a senior. How many seniors can we have? Any seniors? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is going to be, because most likely for majority of the seniors, December 14th is their last chance of taking ACT. So I would not miss that. Which brings to December 14th test, and there's an October 26th. We want our students to take both the ACTs, October 26th and December 14th, through the website actstudent.org. A lot of discussions about this, why we have to take both. So sometimes ACT tests are easy, sometimes they're medium, sometimes they're difficult. Like April 2019 turned out to be really difficult for science. So ACT has a process called equate. They try to equate the difficulty of each test so that they normalize the curve. But still, I feel once they have a difficult test, the very next test, they try to simplify it a little bit and make it a little easier. They won't tell you that, they won't accept that, but we have seen that. So if you take the October test, and let's say it turned out tough, I have an inkling that December 14th will be a little bit easier. But what happens if you miss this test, and then you take the Fed test, then you have missed the chance. This is what we call collateral testing, especially true for 11th graders and 12th graders. Don't allow them to just take one or the other. I would make them take both. So, how many juniors and seniors we have here? Okay, quite a bit. I would definitely be looking for that.
Manoj, have you seen like score, what have you seen with the score differences for juniors and seniors that do collateral testing?
This is as weird as it gets. April, and I'm not just blaming on the difficulty here. April 2019, one of our students had a science score of 29. And I had a meeting with a parent yesterday actually. And he had a 29 before this test in December 2018. And he took the April 2019, as I said, it was difficult, he scored a 21. I can almost guarantee it's not all test. Maybe I think, because I saw his real test, and I see a pattern how he screwed up. Like one passage is all wrong because I think he just gave up. But he took the June test, which is the next test, the collateral, went to a 27. So, I have a pretty good feeling that if you don't have a collateral effect, especially junior as a senior, you may miss out. So especially true for science and reading. I don't see much effect on English and math because they are grammar-based, formula-based. It's either you know it or you don't know. But reading and science can have a significant effect on the difficulty of the passages. I would like to do a hand raise and see how many are planning to take both tests. Okay. Anybody not taking any one of these tests? Okay. Next.
And note, what time of day on the 26th and the 14th are those tests?
It's always a Saturday at 8 a.m.
8 a.m. And is that at a place or is that on your
Yeah,
computer?
when you go to ACT student, they'll ask for, Sioux Falls has a lot of options of where you can take.
Okay.
You can pick. I don't know much about Sioux Falls data, but Susie, I can tell you where you shouldn't be taking it.
Okay, okay.
Because one time there was construction going on, one time there's a daycare going
Oh my
on,
gosh.
and one time, it's, 4.5 hours of focus, any distraction will kill.
Yeah,
So we actually are telling students, when we send an email to you guys somewhere in October of what they need to take, and the last is make sure the kids take earplugs. Because when it's lightning or thundering or stuff like that, anything can happen. And if you're not prepared, you are in for a big surprise. So I would definitely pick a school we are comfortable with, and it can be sometimes very warm, it can be sometimes very cold. So we always tell kids to take a jacket, and that, it seems redundant, it seems childish to talk about it, but sit for 4 hours in the cold weather and try to focus. I had students last week take MCAT. I do MCAT prep and do MCAT mentoring, and it's a 7.5 hours exam now, MCAT. And funny thing, what happened was, when this kid walks in, it was freezing cold, it was in Lincoln, Nebraska, MCAT Center, it was freezing cold, and he had a jacket on, they made him take the jacket off. And he's like, this is ridiculous. I was literally shivering all through when they actually are supposed to maintain 72 degrees Fahrenheit. But again, we have heard enough cases of why what we have recommended is what we are recommending. It's well-designed program that way. Again, please ask questions. It doesn't have to be just this. Anything you can think of, there's so much to discuss. The next thing is November 2nd, we are doing a college information session. I know there are some parents here who have attended this. Raise your hands if you have attended our college information session. 1, 2, 3. So could you guys share what you felt about the program?
It was helpful for those of us who, first kid going through, and just the timeline of, when these things are coming up, and it feels like, at least before we'd done that, I felt like, sophomore year was early to get that started, when in reality, you can really start applying in the spring of your junior year.
And I
So
think
just
that
little things like that you just, you don't think about it until someone tells you, like there's some book you can go read and figure all that stuff out.
And even the books are so, like for example, the Iowa state of Iowa has a handout they give to all schools called ICANN, Iowa College Access Network. And even funny thing is, even they say that the ACT should be prepped in junior and be taken in senior. And I'm flabbergasted that somebody would tell you this, because early action is November 1st. And if you're taking ACT in senior year, you're missing early action admission right there. So it's ignorance is not bliss. And you can read on the website and stuff, but the experience, the stuff you're gonna learn from this is mind-blowing. So anybody else? I know Jessica, you attended. Randy, Craig, you guys attended, right? What do you guys wanna share? Yeah, Jessica.
I think I would mimic what, almost said, what, Dr. Knudsen said. I'm sorry, I work with him, so it seems the right way to reference him, I'm sorry. My situation's a little bit different because my daughter's graduating early, but I wish I would have known some of that information before she started high school. It would have probably changed some of the classes she would have taken her freshman and sophomore year. And so we've been able to fix a little bit of our scheduling for this year, but there would have been probably a couple of classes we would have taken in a different sequence.
And that's the key thing. That's the key thing. When to take, for example, I wanna, without mentioning which parent or which school. So here's the situation I'm dealing with. This kid is a brilliant kid. He took bio in 8th grade, high school bio in 8th grade. Got really well, high A and stuff like that. Now he's taking chemistry in 9th, AP Chem in 10th, and AP Bio, and this is what the school has told him to take. What's the fundamental flaw in this? Can anybody answer this question? I'll have candies.
Too far between Bibles.
What's that?
Too far between Bibles.
I was like, this is not rocket science. It's like whatever he learned, the fundamentals of cells, cell structures and stuff, which he needs, you gotta be pure genius to remember this long and apply. And there's a misconception that the biology is easy. AP Bio is tough. So he'll have to go back, review during the summer, and then plan for this one, and until this, especially this is a pre-med kid, he wants to be pre-med. And you better have a good score in AP Bio, otherwise screwed. We just had a meeting with some admission officers, because this has been like ongoing, and I know some people, so we were discussing what's the magic number for AP courses? How many? Lincoln High School has 26 AP courses. Should we take all 26? No. Bishop Hill High School in Sioux City has 2. They offer 2. You can't take more than 2. So I want to share something very important, and I want you guys to remember this. And this is something admissions officers are really looking into. Here you go. If you take an AP class, but if you don't take an AP test, it's a big turnoff for them. Okay, I'm gonna repeat it. You take an AP class, but you don't take an AP test, they don't like it. They would rather not have you take an AP class at all. And the magic number they told me was 5. They said 5 is the magic number for AP classes.
Who told you that?
Admissions officers from, I would say these are the top 10, 15 ranked colleges. 5 they say. So if somebody's offering 26, you don't have to take all 26. Some people do the 1/3 rule and stuff like that. Everybody's different, but based on what the real world experience is, they say 5. 5 is the number. But here's the main thing. What we are seeing, especially true in Sioux City, is they take an AP class, but they don't take the test because they are not prepared enough. That's going to hurt you. And another thing is, AP is a test. AP is not a class. So a lot of our students in Sioux City who are really good, who don't have AP, Calc BC and stuff like that, these classes are not offered at school. But they take classes with us at New Horizon, and then they pay $95, and then they take the test. So AP is a test. AP class is just a bonus to prep for the test. So 9th grade, how many parents are in 9th grade? Kids are in 9th grade. Okay, 1, 2. And does any of them have taken AP in 9th grade?
Yes.
Okay, 1 in 9th grade would be ideal. 1 in 9th grade would be ideal. Just maybe you have other siblings who may be down the line, maybe other neighbors. Tell them this. If they can handle the intensity of an AP class, then they should. If they're not, that's okay. They don't have to do it. But if they can, start them early. I have a kid I'm dealing with right now has 7 AP classes as a senior. You know what I do? I pray a lot. 7 AP classes. AP Chem, AP Calc AB, AP Bio, AP Physics. And I'm AP certified, AP Chemistry certified in the tri-state area. I'm very few are AP certified. I actually was part of the writing some questions for AP test. I can tell you chemistry is hard, physics is hell. Okay? So I want to make sure that they look pretty cool, right? Oh, how many AP? 7. Oh, it looks you're so smart. No, you're not. You're really not. So, when I sit in the car, I laugh sometimes, like, are you thinking? And parents need to step forward and say, yeah, you may be smart, but I don't want you to do it. I don't want you to be that smart. Because 7 APs are not going to happen. And I can tell you that kid, knowing him for the last 4 years, by the way, he's going to only end up taking 2 AP tests. See now, so they look at this fraction, AP test to AP class ratio. This fraction, of course, is usually less than or equal to 1.0. The question is how low it is. Lower it is, more screwed you are. That's the problem. That's the ratio to remember. I like, I'm already planning for my son's, how the career is gonna go, and assuming he'll listen to me, of course. But I know exactly what Mystic students, parents do. They always tell me that I want them to have a comfortable high school. When you have a comfortable high school, you may not have a comfortable college life. Because I'm the vice president of a college in town, and I can tell you right now, the relation between, oh, by the way, UNC did this research about how many APs and what's their performance in freshman year. So after 5 and higher, the number of APs, the GPA of the freshman students did not vary much. But between 1 and 5, it did vary. So there is a relation between freshman GPA tracking versus the AP, number of APs you have taken. So you really need to invest your time about what is recommended for your kid. And another free advice to parents, if you want to write down this, for some reason, counselors are putting students in AP physics without putting them in regular physics. It's funny, they take chemistry, AP Chem, but they take AP Physics. Physics is very hard. So if they don't have fundamentals of physics, electromagnetism, optics, and stuff like that, then AP Physics becomes downright hell. And I'll tell you the worst part of the situation. People who take AP Physics and AP Calc BC are usually very good. And so AP is a curved test. It's a curved test. So when they take AP Calc BC and AP Physics, a lot of students get a 5 because they are very, very high performing students. So if you don't do well, your chance of dropping is significantly faster. I have a student with a 35 ACT, took an AP Calc AB and got a 1. She's in Calc. She took a Calc 1 class at school, 35 ACT, took an AP Calc AB test, which is the same curriculum, linearly speaking, got a 1. I asked her one question. Did you feel you were prepared for the AP test? She said, not even close. I said, but you were in the class. They don't prepare for AP Calc AB. So your high school Calc 1 so the high school Calc 1 may or may not equal to AP Calc AB. So you gotta be very careful about this. High school grade doesn't translate to an AP grade. I've seen this so many times. There's no correlation between AP grades and what your kids has a GPA as such. Something for you guys to think about. So for the college information session, we cover all these things. It's, I think, Saturday from 3 to 5:30 p.m. There's a fees of $175. We only take 5 or 6 families for this. Again, these two are my favorite programs. And some of the parents have attended this twice actually. Just to reinforce the material, just to get a hold of what they're doing. And to be honest, it's just a great information session. It's so much you're gonna learn. It's a different world right now, so. If your son or daughter, how many 11th graders we have here? Who's gonna be in 11th grade? Okay, so for 11th graders, the October, depends on school, but October, there is a PSAT test. That's for the National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test, NMSQT. If your son is in 9th and 10th grade, but they're sharp, they're good, they need to start preparation right away. This is held in school on a Wednesday, and the score that counts is the junior level score only. 9th you can take it, 10th you can take it, The 11th is the one that counts. And this is the same curriculum as an SAT. And we are starting a PSAT class this coming Thursday, and I'm very proud to say that this is our biggest class ever, because now everybody is realizing that if you want to apply for the top schools, just the ACT is officially enough, but if you don't have an SAT or a PSAT scores, you just are trying, it's going to be harder for you, let me put it this way. So,
Do you know what day that test is this year, Raj?
every school is different, school has to decide this day.
Okay. Okay.
It's on Wednesday, is usually the first Wednesday, second Wednesday, or third Wednesday. In Sioux City, it's more towards second Wednesday of the October. So for juniors, we call this as junior triplets. October PSAT, November SAT, and December ACT. That's what we call the junior triplets. And we expect our students to be done with ACTs by December of the junior year, so that Feb of their junior year, that's next 2020, Feb 2020, they are actually starting to apply for schools and getting ready for it, at least. So, and this is all the stuff we covered in this session. I don't think so I've ever had anybody say this was not helpful. And we have been doing it for 8 years. And I just don't know why people don't want to attend and attend. That's what surprises me. And then when they attend, they're like, geez, we didn't know all these things. And I would highly recommend if you're an 8th and 9th grader for this the most. Because then you know that what courses to take and stuff like that and when to take it. Greg, you attended this, right? What do you think parents should know?
Well, there's so much information that you get. I would actually say taking it twice is probably more useful. The first time I came away from it being pretty overwhelmed with, oh my gosh, we're way behind and all of this, there's all these things. But if you do it early enough, you can kind of see the plan, and then you take it again when your kid's a little closer, and like, okay, this is starting to fall into place. So, and the helpful thing is to have a plan.
Everything has changed, not everything, but so much has changed from 100 years ago when we
Well,
applied, like, we didn't apply.
I don't know about you guys, but I just
It
went and
just-
took the ACT.
It was really different.
And that's
how
what
it was.
everybody did at the time. And here, you know, the intricacies, and the funniest thing is, I breathe this, I live this, and still I feel, I read a lot, update myself. ACT people know me when I call them because they even know my voice now, so I changed my accents. But no, you know, for me, data speaks for itself. Just imagine, and this is the greatest data I always have shared. 2012 had 8 students from New Horizon, all girls, all had 32 ACT scores. All went to Creighton, all got free tuition paid, all of them. Next year, we had a student with a 35 ACT, 2013, only got 50% of the scholarship because they had so many applications. And I still remember, we have kids applying to Creighton right now. It's so tough what those 2012 girls got to what now they're getting for the same score or better score actually. So this will avoid last minute headaches. This will give you a plan. When I was coming here, we had a call from Kansas City. There's a parent who attended this session actually when you guys attended. He's signed up for this. Again, as Craig said, he wants to hear one more time and have his second daughter be part of it so that, and that's the same concern for them is the course structure. They don't want to pull, because just like I said, this kid up from 8th grade to 11th grade AP Bio, that's what his counselors say the same thing. And he's a pretty smart kid, and they're like, how are we structuring this?
Yeah, the kids attend this too.
Oh,
it's
yes.
helpful for the kids to hear all
Oh,
this.
these kids have to attend, you know, it's, otherwise, they think it's no big deal, and, yeah, yeah, convenience is not always comfortable. That's what I always tell my students and always tell parents. Just because it's convenience, oh, let's put in algebra 2. Like for example, in 9th grade, let's say your kid is smart enough to handle geometry in algebra 2. You're in public school, you have the right to ask why you're putting them in geometry only, why not in geometry and algebra 2? If your kid cannot handle or don't want to handle, that's a different story. But look at the difference. If you take geometry and algebra 2 in 9th grade, then you take pre-calc in 10th, calc 1, that's AP calc in 11th grade, then you take calc 2 in 12th grade. So you have done with calc 1 and calc 2. So when you go to college calc, you are actually solidly ready. But if you take geometry 9th, algebra 2 10th, pre-calc 11, calc 1 in 12, your understanding of calc is not strong enough. And then it shows in our students' MCAT scores or engineering scores. And anybody here, their kids are interested in engineering? Okay, so if you're going for engineering, especially mechanical, chemical, I'm from Texas A&M, from chemical and petroleum engineering background. And if you don't have a Calc 1 and Calc 2 done, yeah, they'll be fine, but they'll struggle in freshman calc. Harvard has a course called multivariable calc. That's a requirement for freshman students who are, so if you don't know calc, multivariable calc is hell. Then what happens is it just increases your graduation time because you're actually gonna have to take calc 1 to catch up with multivariable calc. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna give you guys 5 minutes time to think about this if you're interested, and think about this if you're interested. Then I'm gonna go to the next topic of discussion. And we are starting this class here, and we have 9 or 10 from Sioux Falls actually. So, yes.
Can you tell me, about the December 7th? Okay, so I'm looking at this and we're in an ACT review class, right?
Mhm.
But then there's another ACT review from 1 to 4. How does that differ from what we're already doing?
So this is a full test.
Oh, you're taking a test.
Yeah, and they'll work on the mistakes and stuff. So what we do is, you know, we have like 50, 60 ACT books, have everything. But still the test they are getting in the real test and in the books there's a difference. So we try to get some real test as much, we're trying already, so that they actually are put under the testing situation that day. So they will be timed, and they will do it here as well. But the difference here is gonna be, is most likely gonna be a real test.
Will they take a full test there?
So for English, they finish the test. Math, they finish 40 questions out of 60.
Mm-hmm.
Reading, they finish full. Science, they finish 5 passages out of 6. Because we may run out of time, because we still wanna answer their questions,
Mhm.
just not take the test.
Right.
So,
Will we get that, if they take that, can they get their test back?
yes,
with their questions?
we get them the whole thing back. They get the test back, they know what mistakes they've done, they have the correct
They
answers.
get it right there,
Yeah.
that same day?
Same day.
Oh, I see.
Oh, they get the same day. That's why we want Sioux Falls kids to actually come there.
Yeah.
So, no, they get the whole packet. And we actually tell them Monday, that's December 8th, 9th, they have to complete what they have not done and actually rework on all the mistakes on December 9th.
Where is that December 7th class
In-
held?
in-
Is it
In Dakota Dunes.
in Dakota Dunes?
Yes.
So how is my 10th grader who took geometry last year, algebra 2 this year, advanced chemistry last year, AP chemistry this year, not going to feel like a failure if she goes to November 2nd when you're gonna tell her not to do exactly what she's doing?
She's fine actually, because she's taking geometry in 9th grade, that's what they do basically.
Yeah,
But if I see her state testing scores from 7th, 8th, and 9th,
okay.
and if I feel like she should have been in geometry and algebra 2 in ninth grade. She missed a trip there.
Right, so I'm afraid that if she attends November 2nd,
Mhm.
she's gonna come out of there feeling like she's behind the 8 ball. And,
Mhm.
okay.
There's always a solution. The solution here is, again, AP is a test. So if they can prep for the test as an 11th and 12th grader, you can actually take AP Calc AB and BC test before they graduate.
Okay, so essentially you're gonna work with everybody's schedule and not make
Yes.
them feel like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, some people do get the OMG feeling,
Right.
but, and that's why, and that's the hard part for me. Here, it's like going to a doctor and saying, do I really have this? So, that's my situation.
So you work with what they
And yes,
got.
there is a solution.
Okay,
But
that's
I have a
great.
parent whose kid was taking geometry in 10th grade, and I told them I can't work with this because it's too late.
But that's the normal Sioux Falls track, just so you know.
It is.
That's what they tell them to take unless a parent advocates for their child.
We've had to repeatedly,
Fight.
yeah, and
me too.
they kind of blow off our daughter, and then when I go in and say, no, we wanted the plan that you said, they'll put her in it. And then at the end of the year, they'll say they're glad they did it, but they'll fight in the beginning.
Manoj, have you seen the graduation tracks that Sioux Falls uses? I mean, they have kids who are not gonna go to college, kids who wanna go to college but can't probably handle the honor track and then the honor track.
Yeah.
And so, I think what these parents are all saying, and I think would be valuable feedback to you, is for those of us who only come into your sphere
Late.
halfway through, we left that college information, it was very valuable, but we left it with profound anxiety and chest pain over what we cannot change now. And so, I think it would behoove you a little bit to assess who's the kid, what they've done so far, and maybe take that into account when you deliver. What you're delivering is the ideal perfect from knowing you in 7th grade and running it on through, but some of us met you in sophomore
yeah.
year, and so.
And I know,
And so, my kid won't care like her kid cares, but some kids are gonna freak when they find out that they've screwed it up already, because Manoj says, this is the way it's gotta be if you wanna go to whatever. So, that's just feedback, mostly for you, and for the parents who are feeling that same way, you're not the only one. You just take what you can from it, and you change the course as best you can to
Yes.
help him or her get on the track that's right for them. And the ideal, perfect Princeton track isn't even right for your kid anyway. So there maybe isn't a cause for anxiety about it
Mhm.
in your family and in your kid's life. So you have to just take what he says and just adjust it to your situation and your kid and what he or she can or cannot do or wants to do. If they don't want to do this stuff, I mean, you're wasting your money then. They have to sort of buy into all of this,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, and for me, and I think you nailed it. What I'm preferring is, as vice president of the college, when students come to me with all this situation. For example, I'm going to talk about one situation I'm dealing with. This kid has not taken an ACT writing test. Our website says writing is optional. Well, he didn't take it, so he comes there. Well, guess what I do? First thing is we give them a CPT, computerized placement test on a writing score, and he messed it up. Now I'm putting in a fundamentals of writing class because that's a non-graduating, but it's not. He didn't make the minimum requirements. So, what my goal here is, I think Jason, you put it in the right way. Actually, this is an umbrella. There's too many things in this. Question is, you got to take some chunks of it and see what it fits. And I was thinking about your question, Allison. Let me put it this way. Let's say Elizabeth finds out that she should have taken this course versus this course. You still have a little time to change it instead of actually maintaining status quo. That's what this course does. Ideally, as Jason said, 7th and 8th grade, 8th or 9th grade would be ideal for me so I can work with these kids. But at the same time, their lack of preparedness hurts them than anybody else. And I can tell you, there is no relation in what ACT score you have and how they have done in freshmen sometimes. I was student who had 35 ACT, Chem 1, I teach college Chem, she had a C minus. Because she thought she's good in science and she had a good chemistry background. I know very well she did. And I kept telling them, hey, you gotta take our classes, chemistry, I don't think so you're ready. She took MCAT last month, and she just got her scores. And guess what her lowest score was in chemistry? And all these years it is showing signals, but they didn't buy into us. Our job is to give, actually, it's like, we have quite a bit of doctors here, it's like your job is to give me the pill. If I don't take it, you say, you screw you, I'm done here. Am I right? You cannot make me take a pill. So my concern is, I've been telling these guys, I know them for so long, 4th grade I know them. I said, I don't see a kid being prepared. Oh, she has 35. Well, 35 is camouflaging the real problems here. 35 means she's brilliant, she can learn material, doesn't mean she's good in chemistry. That's why they make you take AP test. So if you're a pre-med declared major, they want to know these scores, whether you can handle the material. ACT talks of aptitude, your preparedness, and skill level. AP tells you the content knowledge. So if you are going to be involved in this one, you'll have to take bits and pieces of what. And if you're starting a little early, then you have more to take out of it. But I would rather have you guys not take anything out of it. Like for example, recommendation letters. I think we talked about recommendation letters. This is, let's say she's my teacher, and this is what happens. It's due on December 1st, and I come on 3 days before Thanksgiving. Well, ma'am, I need a recommendation letter. Thank you very much. You know what she does? Great. She has a recommendation from the previous student, takes her of son's name out, and puts her name, makes a couple, and done. And schools know this. Schools know that your recommendation letter tells how serious your teacher was when she wrote it or he wrote it. We asked them to give 2 months' time for the recommendation letters. Like Alexa is one of our tutors. She's a 35 state brilliant kid. She gave me notice on July 1st, and she wants it on September 1st. I'm actually been working with her later on last 3 weeks now. So by September 1st, we are in a position to have grammar check, proofread, make sure her name is spelled correctly. Biggest mistake, by the way, in the recommendation letter. Your kid's name is not spelled correctly. Because they have so many of them, right? They just type in and they don't proofread it. So, and when I, as an admission officer at college, I see it. When your name itself is spelled wrong in the recommendation letter, how serious the teacher was to write the one. And I would have no hesitation to reject that offer. So that's why all these schools say, after a certain ACT score, they want to know other things. That's what they want to know. So you don't have to get a 36 to get to U Chicago. 34 is good enough for them. But they want to say other things. Other things are important. Essays, for example. The February 1st of 2020, the Common App opens, the prompts are open. Why are they opening so far ahead of time? Because they are giving you enough time to work on it. We are working with a kid from Kansas City. They have written 7 editions already, 7 times. We still are not done because we are still seeing some mistakes, and it's not perfect. Because personal statement is the one that will make the college know about your kid. And if it's not good enough, it doesn't matter if you have 36, they may not still get it. Yeah, that's a fact. Oh, by the way, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So if you want, I don't take selfies and post it, but I post a lot of information that can help you guys. So you can always follow me. Let's go. On a lighter note. Anything else you guys can think of? Yes.
So on December 7th, will they have class? Are we done with classes by then?
Class gets done on December 8th. This is Saturday. Class.
That's a Saturday.
Mm-hmm. That's 1 week exactly before the ACT.
Yeah, December 8th is the last class,
Yes,
right? Before
yeah.
the December.
And we have
4th, yeah.
full-blown class on December 8th.
Yeah.
We are planned the curriculum to the nuts and bolts, so. And by the way, as you can see, I'm actually, the first time we are actually recording, and we'll be posting on the group me, so you can actually have your kids watch this. Yes?
So I know there's a couple of us that are in this situation where we have a junior that's taking Algebra 2.
Mhm.
And so we didn't come to the class,
Mhm.
I just met you.
Mhm.
So if our kid is not done with Algebra 2 and they're a junior, would you still recommend that they take the fall ACT? The October, or would you recommend that they get all the way through Algebra 2 and take the spring ACT?
You said junior or senior, sorry?
She's a junior.
Then I would
this
wait
year?
till senior, I would wait till spring.
Okay,
I would definitely take the December one though.
okay, so take the December one.
December for sure, but then then take the Feb one, which is the next one, but I would not take the October, if they are in
So
algebra
do
two.
the December, February,
Yeah.
or a December, April, or something like that.
Yeah, I would definitely wait till December,
Okay.
because this is the average number of chapters done, I wanna say average because everybody's different. The average number of chapters done in algebra two by December is 5. If, ideally it should be 6, but that 5 chapters will reinforce question number 21 to 45 significantly in the ACT.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for answering that.
Is there any harm in taking it though?
No, there's no harm. And our curve is like this, by the way. Again, these are all the averages. If you want to know relation between number of times and how the graph looks like, let's call it as random percent here, okay? So we don't want it exactly. It looks like this. Between 3 and 5 attempts, we have seen kids max out. They do the best. 3 to 5 times. And if you want to look at the relation between grade, what grade they are in, this is 9th grade, this is 12, 9, 10, 11, 12. Usually we have seen like this. And again, please don't tell me my kid is 11. So this is general. Okay? This is what we have seen. Students who have taken in spring of 12th grade have done the worst. Spring of 12th grade. So you can see there's a sharp decline because they don't give a damn here. That really is a fact. They just like, well, Dan made me do it, and that's. So we are, and I know why they try to do it is for scholarship, to get that excess 4,000, 8,000. So they just walk into the testing center. But this is where I feel the fun really happens. 9th spring and 10th, 11th fall is things have been very important. 9th spring, we had 2 students who have got a perfect 36 at New Horizon. 2. First one got 36, she's in Harvard Economics. Second is going to be she's a senior this time. We had on 45 students who have got 35. And out of those 45 students, 11 were freshmen. So what I'm trying to tell is, and I'm being very serious about this, there is no correlation between what grade you're in and what is the ACT score, because ACT can be taught. We teach the material. That's why it's a 28-hour program, because we actually teach the material. Just not the strategies, just not the assignment, we actually teach the material. Yes?
And if you get a 36 in the 9th grade, you don't have to take the ACT.
You better not.
Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, you don't have to take it again.
Right, okay.
We had a kid who got a 35 in 8th grade,
Okay.
and he's done. He said, Mom, I'm not taking it again. Mom was like, you got to be taking this. This is ridiculous. No, you have 4 years, you can't even try once. So I'm negotiating that one right now.
If they get a 34 in 8th grade, they should never take it again.
Yeah.
Actually, that's we have that rule. One of our first student who got a 34 as a 9th grader, she's in USC. She's right now. She went to USC, then she's in Duke Medical School. We actually told her not to take it again because 9th grade 34 trumps 12th grade 36. Because that means you're ready. So then they progress how she did in AP, and school had only 4 APs, she took 8 APs, so she did more work. So we tried to kind of outperform the curve in that school because they have national ranked schools. So they outperformed the curve. She got $100,000 in USC scholarship. She was Harvard waitlisted, John Hopkins, Duke, and all stuff, but she went to USC she got $100,000. So again, if my son gets a 34.9 he's done. Because if he's not, he's in trouble. No, just kidding. No, I'm gonna have to do this. Anything yet? How many of kids you have who are in middle school? Anybody? 1, 2, 3, 4. See, for middle school, this discussion is gonna help you a lot. First kid is always an expert. No, just kidding. But again, that's
half of it is really good. When we did it, when Jack was in middle school, knowing your schedule and how you build your schedule is really important. It'd be helpful when your kids are in high school to go back and learn more about the letters and all the other stuff all the extracurricular stuff beyond the test that your kids need to be thinking about.
And
Because you'll forget about that.
And Bob's son, Bob family has been working with me for a long time, and Jackson actually, Jack actually is one of our few students, 3 in fact, in 7th grade. He scored there's an exam called Duke Tip. How many of you know about Duke Tip? Okay, there's a program called Duke Tip, Talent Identification Program. And to make into the Duke Tip, you take ACT as a 7th grader. You have to. And he scored as a 7th grader 33 in English. And of course, I've been working with them, and as he's pointed out, timeline is so important. Because if you, again, one thing I want to make sure that you guys know this. New Horizon has always been criticized because they think that Manoj always wants kids to go in the top 10. No, we want kids to apply to top 10. We have a kid who got to Harvard but decided to go to UNL. I'm totally fine with it. But we want our kids to prep to their maximum potential. And my best success story is still today a kid who had 11 ACT. Was an orphan, was under, you guys know Big Brothers and Big Sisters program? So they came and they said, well, he needs to get at least a 16 to play at Wayne State basketball. I said, well, he's a senior, we have a few months left, what we can do? I told him, I'm not gonna collect the fees. I'm gonna mentor him myself. I asked him one promise. Whatever I'm gonna tell you, you gotta do it. That's all I'm asking. I'm not gonna even collect the fees. I tutored him for 4 months, literally handheld him to make sure everything gets done. And he got 21. And he got a full ride to Wayne State to play basketball. Until today, for me, it's the best success story I ever had. So my job is to maximize each kid's potential. And everybody's different. And where they go is up to their families. But I wanna make sure that you guys have choices. Like I have a student who at the 29 ACT is applying to one school, USD, wants to go to USD and be done with it. I said, fine, you wanna go to USD, that's fine, it's a hell of a school. I know a lot of professors there, but why can't you apply to other schools? You never know what you're gonna hear from other schools. Negotiate. And then if you wanna go to USD, fine. I'll write a recommendation letter for you. But applying to one school is not the way to do it. And I blame the parents more than the kid here, by the way. If I were the parent, I would make him apply. Definitely. So your involvement is more important than you guys can think. I know we are all busy. I get up in the morning, my kids are sleeping. When I go home, they're sleeping. So I usually show my picture in the home so they know they don't forget me. But that's a reality for me. But if I have to make Siouxland the best place, somebody has to take the baton, and I've taken the baton. We have more applications to Harvard in this tri-state area than Des Moines area for the first time in 2017. I'm not saying we have 11 students in Harvard. We have 11 students in Harvard from New Horizon, but we have more applications. That's what I'm looking for, is more applications, more chances of getting into those schools. So try your hardest. So, again, this is something, I just want to stress this, because if you're interested, please sign up. This is first come, first serve basis. This is the most important one I'm saying. This, yeah, as we discussed today, pretty interesting how to take this. As Jason pointed out, there's a skill how to use this data. And if you're in 11th grade, if your kids can take the PSAT exam, it's, remember, you don't have to disclose the score. You don't have to tell that out. If your kid didn't score well, you don't have to tell it. But taking the exam, it's a great exposure for your kids. This is really is an amazing test. My favorite test is PSAT. And one thing to remember, ACT does not have science test. ACT has a science reasoning test. So that's the difference between ACT and SAT. Science, and SAT is a longer test than ACT. And of course, we talked a lot more about this one. I want to ask you guys this question. What are your expectations of this class, of this program for your kids? What should we know? Is there any, if there is any personal emergencies or allergies or anything like that, please let me know. We had a situation when one of the students is hypoglycemic, and I didn't know that, so I carry candies now. But please make sure I'm aware of it. So if there is something I need to be aware of, text me. Anything else? I have one more request from you guys. We are taking students, registering students till September 1st. So if you have anybody interested, please let us know. I'm a little worried about the enrollment of this program. We expected at least 40 students to run this program, but we have 24 right now. I'm gonna be here teaching, doesn't matter. But our panel is a little upset with me that, that you have promised me 40 students, we are not. You should have canceled it and stuff like that. But I'm not gonna do that. But it will be nice to have more students enrolled. And we are gonna be doing the spring class as well. And, again, it's not the same as when we took the ACTs. Things have changed a lot. And your involvement in your kids' high school and college career will be extremely, extremely beneficial in the long run. So without further delay, thank you so much for your time.